power, choice, and pain. Most stories teach us to split the world in two: heroes who save, villains who destroy. These are the villains who learn to cross the line, not out of magic, but because something inside them changed. We begin by asking a simple question: what makes a villain? Is it the mask, the crimes, or the moment the world did something irreparable to a human soul? Because to change, someone first has to feel the cost of their choices. That turning point, small or seismic, is the moment the heart cracks open. Let's meet the kinds of change that matter. Loki, once the crownless prince who learned that power could fill an empty place in him. Loki's trickery was an armor for abandonment, but loss as a way of turning masks into mirrors. When he watched the devastation his schemes caused, when love and loss showed in the faces of those he hurt, something shifted. Not overnight, not perfectly, but steadily. Mischief softened into a duty to protect the fabric of reality he once tore. Loki's redemption is messy. It's not about becoming good. It's about becoming accountable. Magneto, Eric Lencher's story, is carved from trauma. He watched hate annihilate his family and decided the only path forward was strength by any means. But strength without moral tether becomes domination. Over decades, Magneto learned that protection without compassion breeds the very monster you fear. His alliances, his grudging coalitions, they are proof that even the most wounded can fight for a future different from the one vengeance carved. Harley Quinn. Harley's path is one of escape, not the glamorous kind, the kind that takes courage. From lover to puppet to someone who ripped off the mask of abuse and chose her own chaos. Redemption for Harley wasn't a single noble act. It was 1,000 small refusals. Refusing to be owned, refusing to reenact the harm, slowly learning how to care without being controlled. Venom, Eddie Brock. The symbiote is an alien hunger. Eddie is a man haunted by failure. Their bond became a mirror. The alien learns empathy through the human. The human finds purpose through the alien. When Eddie chooses to shield innocence, even as the symbiote howls for carnage, that choice becomes heroism, forged out of shared struggle, not sudden epiphany. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, maybe the most brutal arc. A man stripped of self, a puppet of violence. His redemption doesn't come because someone forgives him instantly. It comes because he chooses to hold himself accountable, to remember names he once erased, to walk the rubble of the lives he destroyed, and try, painfully, to help rebuild. Redemption is not a trophy. It's an apprenticeship. For every act of salvation, there are echoes of their crimes demanding reckoning. The world rarely hands a hero's welcome to someone with a history of blood on their hands. Trust is knit slowly, if it is knit at all. So how do these characters make the leap? 3 things repeat. Visible sacrifice. They don't ask to be forgiven. They earn it by putting themselves in harm's way for others. Consistent action. One good deed is not a career change. 1,000 small acts of service are facing consequences, admitting guilt publicly, stepping down from power, sometimes sacrificing their own desires. That honesty builds credibility. Look at the moments that matter. Loki standing in defense of a timeline he once shattered. Bucky choosing the side of freedom over orders. Venom protecting a child from a predator. Those moments are the mortar between past and future. The irony of redemption is this: the very skills and ruthlessness that made them feared often become assets in service of others. Magneto's strategic ruthlessness becomes defense for mutant kind. Harley's unpredictability becomes a strange form of courage. Venom's ferocity becomes a shield for the innocent. Alliances form where they once could not. Old enemies become allies because survival and purpose make strange bedfellows. And the cultural echo? These arcs shift how audiences value complexity. They teach us that people are capable of change, and that redemption can become a legacy stronger than any crime. Why do these stories hit so hard? Because they feel like us. We've all made mistakes, some small, some that haunt us. We've all wanted forgiveness and wondered if it's deserved. These redemption arcs offer something radical: accountability paired with hope. They don't erase history. They insist we can write new chapters. If a tyrant can learn mercy, if a predator can become protector, maybe the same is possible for people in our world. Not because fiction is simple, but because it models a hard truth. Change requires pain, patience, and perpetual effort. So tell me, who is your favorite villain turned hero? Who surprised you by choosing the light? Drop their name below and share the moment that convinced you they had changed. Because these arcs are not just entertainment. They are lessons. They are mirrors. They are sometimes the very proof we need that second chances can exist. I'm Beaconville. If you believe even the darkest heart can find light, subscribe. We're just getting started.